Hello, everyone, part 3. Are you ready to watch? Enjoy this show. Please support me. I'm sitting here now, writing this, still reeling from everything that happened. It feels surreal, like I'm watching my life from the outside, trying to figure out how I got here. But at the same time, there's this strange sense of relief in knowing I did what was best for me. After the call with Tom, I felt like a weight had been lifted off my chest. It wasn't easy to end things, but the clarity was undeniable. For so long, I had been wondering if I was making the right decision, but in that moment, I knew I was. I had to take care of myself first. I had to stop letting someone else's actions dictate my happiness. But as much as I felt relief, the aftermath was still complicated. The emotions that came flooding in afterward were overwhelming. I felt sad, angry, confused, and even a little lonely, despite the fact that I was the one who had made the decision. The idea of never seeing Tom again, never sharing our life together, still stung. It was like grieving the death of a relationship that I thought was something it wasn't. A relationship built on love, when in reality, it was built on deceit. I spent a lot of time talking to Emily. She'd been my rock through all of this. She'd been the one who told me I didn't deserve any of this, and when I was feeling weak or doubting my decision, she'd remind me of all the reasons I had to let go. I didn't realize how much I had been holding on to the idea of us until Emily made me see that I had nothing left to cling to. All the good moments in our marriage were tainted now, by his lies, by his affair, by his complete disregard for me. One of the hardest things was watching Tom continue to text and call me. At first, I thought it was just him trying to win me back, trying to manipulate me into forgiving him. But then, after a few days, I realized he was starting to turn the tables. He began blaming me. He started accusing me of overreacting and not being able to see how much he loves me. He said that I was being too harsh, that I was destroying everything we had over one mistake. But I wasn't going to let him manipulate me anymore. I blocked his number, deleted all his texts, and unfriended him on social media. It felt empowering. It felt like cutting the final tie that was holding me to a toxic situation. And then came the guilt. Oh, the guilt. There were moments when I questioned if I had made the right choice. Was I being too harsh? Was I throwing away something that could have been fixed? I found myself thinking, maybe he really would change. Maybe I was overreacting. But then I would remember the texts, the lies, the way he tried to manipulate me. I would remember how small he had made me feel and how I was losing my identity in that relationship. The guilt would fade, and I would remember why I had to let go. It was hard to be alone, especially after years of being with him. But I knew I had to rediscover myself. I had to learn how to be happy on my own again. I started going for long walks, taking care of myself, focusing on things that made me happy. For the first time in a long time, I felt like I was me again. Not someone's wife, not someone's second choice. Just me. I've been meaning to update you all on how things have been going. It's been a few weeks since I made the decision to end things with Tom, and let me tell you, it's been a journey. I've gone through some incredibly tough moments, but I'm starting to feel like myself again. One of the hardest parts of this process has been the loneliness. I thought I'd be fine on my own, but I wasn't prepared for the emotional toll that comes with it. At first, there were nights when I would cry myself to sleep, missing the companionship, missing the person I thought Tom was. It's like a weird, complicated grief. I mourn not just the relationship but the person I thought I had built a future with. I kept thinking about how much of myself I had given to him, my time, my energy, my love, and now, all of it felt like it had been wasted. It took me a while to realize that none of it was a waste. It was just part of my journey. Part of the learning process. But that didn't make it hurt any less. I've been focusing a lot on rebuilding my life. I started doing things for me, things I hadn't had the chance to do in years. I went back to reading books I'd forgotten about, started exercising again, and spent more time with friends. Emily has been a huge support, and so has my mom. They've helped me see that I am not defined by this relationship. I am so much more than the woman who was cheated on. I am strong. I am worthy. I am enough. I also decided to seek therapy. I realized that I couldn't just ignore the emotional damage that Tom's betrayal had caused. I had to confront my feelings head-on. The therapy sessions have been enlightening. I'm starting to understand the patterns I had fallen into, how I allowed myself to be manipulated, how I lost sight of my own needs in favor of keeping the peace. Therapy has given me tools to rebuild my confidence and boundaries. It's helped me recognize the red flags I ignored and how to ensure I never find myself in that situation again. Tom, on the other hand, is still trying to reach out. He's been sending me messages, but I've made it clear that I don't want anything to do with him. I've made it clear that I'm moving on. He's tried to apologize again, telling me he was going to therapy and that he was a changed man. But I've learned to stop listening to his words and start listening to his actions, or, in this case, his lack of actions. It's too little, too late. There's also been a strange sense of freedom. I'm no longer constantly questioning my worth or wondering if I'm enough. I don't have to deal with his manipulations, his lies, his guilt trips. I'm no longer living in a world where I'm expected to just accept being treated like an option. I've learned that I don't have to settle for less than what I deserve. And here's something I didn't expect: I'm starting to feel more hopeful about the future. For the longest time, I thought I was going to be defined by this betrayal. I thought I would never be able to trust again, never be able to love again. But I'm starting to see that the world is so much bigger than Tom. I have so many possibilities in front of me. And while I'm not rushing into anything new, I'm starting to realize that I am worthy of love, of respect, and of a relationship that makes me feel whole. I still have days where I doubt myself, where I wonder if I did the right thing, but those days are getting fewer and farther between. I'm learning to trust myself again. I'm learning to trust that I have the strength to move forward, no matter what. I wanted to update you all on where I'm at now. I'm just a few months into this whole moving on thing, and while the journey hasn't been perfect, I'm really starting to feel like myself again. It's been a ride of ups and downs, but I think I'm finally figuring out who I am outside of the relationship with Tom. One of the most freeing things about being single again has been rediscovering my passions. I forgot how much I loved painting. It's been years since I picked up a brush, but over the last month, I've been dedicating time to it every weekend. I even signed up for a painting class at a local studio. The first time I went, I was so nervous, but now, every time I finish a session, I feel like I've found a piece of myself that I'd lost. It's like a part of my soul was on pause for so long, and now I'm starting to hit play again. I've also been focusing on my career. I'd put so much energy into making Tom happy that I'd forgotten about my own goals and dreams. I've been doing some freelance work in my field, and I'm getting more clients than I thought I would. It feels good to finally invest in myself and see the fruits of my labor pay off. The more I work, the more I realize how much potential I've been sitting on all these years. It's empowering to feel like I'm in control of my own future now. My friendships have also been growing. Emily has been my rock, and I'm so grateful for her. But I've also reconnected with other friends I'd lost touch with while I was consumed by my marriage. It's amazing how quickly you can slip into isolation when you're in a toxic relationship. I've been going out more, meeting new people, and I'm finding joy in things I forgot I loved: laughing, spontaneous adventures, and just being myself without worrying about someone else's approval. But of course, it hasn't all been sunshine and rainbows. I've had moments where I feel lonely. The holidays were tough. I kept thinking about how Tom and I used to decorate the house together, how we used to host family dinners. Those memories still sting a little, especially when I think about how much he betrayed me. But I'm learning to hold space for those feelings without letting them control me. It's a bittersweet kind of healing. I also started dating again, not in any serious way, but just to get a sense of what's out there. I've gone on a few dates, and honestly, it's been a strange experience. I think I was so terrified of the idea of dating again that I built it up in my mind as this big, scary thing. But so far, it's been fun. It's been refreshing to talk to people who are open, honest, and not trying to manipulate me. I'm not in any rush to jump into another relationship, but I've learned that there are people out there who can treat me the way I deserve. I deserve someone who respects me, who values honesty, and who isn't afraid to be real. But I think the biggest thing I've learned through all of this is how much I've grown. I've gone from feeling like my whole world was falling apart to realizing that I am the one who has the power to rebuild. Tom's affair shattered me, but I'm slowly putting the pieces back together, and the woman I'm becoming is stronger, more confident, and more self-aware than I ever was before. I'm finally learning to put myself first, and it feels incredible. I still have days where I miss the idea of what Tom and I were, but I no longer miss the person he actually was. I don't miss the lies, the manipulation, or the constant feeling of walking on eggshells. What I miss is the dream of the life we could have had, but I've come to accept that that life wasn't meant for me. And I've come to realize that I'm okay on my own. I don't need a man to validate me or make me feel whole. I am whole. And as I keep moving forward, I know that whatever happens next, I'm ready. Thank you for watching. I ask you to help me. Subscribe to my channel, put likes, and do not forget to comment. Thank you. See you in another video.